naturally build into something like a Lotus Orb. Of course, early-ish BKB coming out for the Razor as well. And, I mean, they don't have amazing stun potential either on Gaming Gladiators to be able to lock the Storm Spirit in. Should still see an early-ish BKB for BZM, but certainly does make it a little bit more challenging when you don't have that full complement of heroes to make his life a little bit more difficult.
Top lane. They're going to try and make an attempt onto Yuragi with a rotation out of Celery. They telekinesis him back inside the pit, but with Yuragi's stolen damage, he'll get a return kill looking for the deny, and he finds it as well. So, yeah, it's an okay exchange. 1 for 2, 1 for 1, I suppose.
It's a lot of time spent out of the lane, though. You've got Ace not going to be able to immediately shove it in. Of course, CM would be able to TP up there if she wanted to, but instead, with some of those rotations towards mid, if he refills Quinn's bottle, gets a D-ward off, Iger needs to do the same sort of thing.
They just... Quinn just also D-warded like a minute ago, so both the wards they placed down mid from OG. It's got removed, and we'll see where the power rune's gonna go as well. Once again, both sides using their duo supports to try and secure it. Will be top though. Quinn has a haste to work with now.
He's paid up his Dota Plus. He knows where the wins are got.
Gaben always smiles on him.
Yeah. Just having two supports often rotating to your lane do help matters.
Do indeed. So BZM maybe is going to start to think about going back and farming up the jungle to try and open up mid for Tiger, who does still kind of have to be a little bit cautious. This constant slight spam with the Orb of Corrosion will be very frustrating for the CM with low armor.
I know they've done a lot to be able to fix... Oh, nice. Aggressive Glyph as well. They're making sure to try and keep that Flag Bearer creep alive for as long as possible, keep the Siege creep alive for as long as possible. Wonder if Quinn even wants to tank a couple of tower hits as well, but won't be able to do it in time to be able to save the Siege. But still...
Top lane. Yeah, Yuragi. I mean, once again, another rotation coming through the portal from Celery, and as soon as they see some of the supports playing away from the Razor, they know this is a free kill. There's nowhere he's going to be able to run, unfortunately. I mean, that is... Dude, Ace is top network!
Yeah, I just looked at that as well.
What's going on?
And he's got 21 charges, so there's no way that he's going to be dying up on this top side. Still only 500 gold away from the Vanguard, and at that point it just becomes an absolute certainty. Really getting a lot of value out of even just that 1 point in the Pit of Malice, and even now there are a lot of creeps just hitting into this tower. Importantly though, Tiger is up here with him, but I think even if they feel like they can go onto Ace, that is not the reality of the situation. Ratcher's a little low though on this bottom side. Yeah, almost hitting up onto his level 6, so I wonder if this is going to force him entirely back into the jungle. He's finished up the Morbid Mask as well, so has the ability to just keep himself semi-survivable as Quinn lane.
So Remnants over to the right. I'm still going to zip on over. Another rune. So let's see if they actually want to try and target down the Timber. Maybe... Oh, there's some juicy stacks for them to take instead. This is... Uh-oh, there's a lot of economic damage.
Yeah, and you know that it's here, right? You're playing against a Coddle that I'm sure the communication between Celery and the rest of the team has been there. And yeah, BZM, you're just a little late, my friend, to be able to do anything about it. So that's a lot of gold that you've just given away. We'll at least be able to get the D-ward off, but the damage is done.
Damage is indeed done, so... I mean, you're still probably going to look to try and play through BZM through a lot of your early game movements. He's going to have the treads completed pretty shortly. 7.5 at the moment as well. Maybe their first rotation might be down to bottom to even combine with DM with a lot of his damage potential, but at the moment, Gaming Gladiators and once again, all their supports playing around mid, they've been able to accumulate a 3,000 net worth lead.
And Tofu is even just yoinking away a lot of this farm. GG are just getting away with everything. You know, they've got these super deep wards up, they're denying wards, they're getting both power runes, they're making rotations up towards to give Ace a much freer game, and now they can play away from Ace. They were really... That was the MO, right? Make sure that this top lane doesn't go horribly, and then we're free to just play with these trio of supports and mid laner.
Another D-ward.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Another ward mid, dude. That's taken care of. They've done their homework.
Some people place their wards in habitual sort of areas, and they even still have that ward. Doesn't seem like it, but CM doesn't... Well, he's got a decent amount of mana to be able to make plays with, but he's not the main target, and he doesn't have the damage as a result of a lot of those power runes not going his way.
Joshua pretty aggressively as BZM. Said though, he's not really the main target here from Gaming Gladiators. They'd like the kills onto the supports. It does...
They just push them away from the power room.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
And they're going to be praying that it's bottom this time around. Are they going to luck out? They will. Oh, I was thinking he might have gone for a quick yoink there with the sleight of fist on Quinn. Not quite there. Plus side is, using all the mana doesn't matter. You've got Seb there just to be able to regenerate things. Maybe start building up some stacks again. But DM has taken over this bottom side a little bit.
Is this kind of an opening now for OG to maybe look to make a play? Because it's really been Gaming Gladiators that have been proactive currently. But with the Treads and now Arcane Rune on BZM, are you considering about maybe going to a side lane and looking for a kill?
Possibly. I mean, the thing is, though, it's the 10-minute mark, so Quinn is just pushing this mid lane. He's got the Orb of Corrosion, you've got a Siege Creep here. They can still pop the Glyph to be able to slow this one down, but you really want to be making those more active plays. And are they even going to Glyph this? They would have had another refresh off the back of that, so we're just a little bit out of sorts here on OG. Want to see who's going to reveal themselves, but with the Storm and no one revealing on the lane, it means that Gladiators are playing a little bit more conservatively. Still hasn't revealed under any sort of vision yet, but this is the time that you're really wanting to make a lot of those aggressive plays.
Kind of hiding behind the trees. So yeah, looks like Tofu's going to be the kill. Pretty nice reaction up with the telekinesis. They're going to try and gate in as well to have some extra reinforcements for the further fight. Tofu should still go down. Celery dies as well inside the river. But Gaming Gladiators importantly bring all their cores to potentially turn the tides, but maybe with DM showing up, it could be a fight where OG stands strong. So we're able to get the kill into Ace, high net worth member that gets taken care of. Now Daracho's in some trouble as well when the waveform doesn't even come out. So with the Arcane Rune, they get maximum effectiveness out of it, and DM shows up very early on the Timbersaw.
That's the sort of thing that I was expecting to see out of this OG draft. It's just that GG did everything right in the first, 10 or so minutes of this game, taking that tower. Or they're even going to be able to yoink away this regen. Rune hasn't popped it just yet. He'll be able to get away, but potentially look to make another kill happen. I mean, Celery is revealing on this top side. He's not quite up to that level 6 just yet. Maybe he's just looking to use that nice little start that he got to get a bit closer towards that Orc of Malevolence.
Definitely stops a lot of the momentum that GG were being able to build so far through the first 12 minutes. There was a huge engagement from OG where they can start to maybe chill out. You are kind of lacking some levels on the supports. I mean, Tiger in particular is only level 5. I don't even know where the first Wisdom Rooms went. Let's take a look. Tofu got 1 and Seb got 1 as well. So yeah, it was just a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, the thing is, though, it felt like both of those, well, every single lane, actually, was going, at least 500 net worth in favor of Gaming Gladiators previously. So that engagement going so heavily in favor of OG, a 4-for-1 trade, sure, you give up your around OG aren't going to let these stacks be yoinked away from them once again. So they're recovering somewhat, and DM is going into just an early-ish play mode. Wants to be able to respond to some of the aggression that's going to be coming out from the Gaming Gladiators. I'm begging to see a DM Timbersaw all throughout this tournament. He's got a very good one. It just feels like they haven't given him the confidence to be able to do it. So this is the game to be able to say to all the haters, no, no, no. I am still one of the better Timber players in the world.
Radiant scanning.
See if he's going to be able to get them over the finish line though. Because you've got Uragi with a Midas, so he's wanting as much time as he possibly can get. And unfortunately, he's going to be the target of this smoke. Now, he's in a pretty decent position with a creep wave to pop it, and with the slide off the mark, Uragi... Okay, they're actually going to look to TP in and counter smoke. BZM go to the T1 tower. Going to be able to stab Gaming Gladiators deep inside their own jungle. They're going to put all their attention onto Quinn. But the Remnant's still there to work with, but the Ember's soaking up a lot of the damage. So tries to step over to the right side. BZM's completely out of mana. It's going to be up to DM if they're able to secure the kill, and with the chain over the top, need a little bit more spell damage. Can they get it? They will be able to. Beautifully done. BZM, along with 4 other members, are required out of OG to stop that smoke.
Love that play as well. Sure, they were very keen to fight as far over to the left-hand side as possible. It was a pretty early Nether Ward drop by that was able to be constantly scouted out by the Razor, even when he's in that fog of war. So made sure that he was able to stay as far away from that, focused it down first and foremost, and that just opened up the fight so heavily for OG to be on the positive side of it. I mean, they're 7-ish 100 gold away, maybe 800 or so when you take the recipe in account for that Lotus Orb. So you've got a bit of a response now towards, you know, things like the attribute shift, the replicate. You can get out of the Pit of Malice, you can get out of the chains. So yeah, he's certainly delivering with this early game.
Really impressed with how active he's been getting here for DM, and hopefully we're going to continue to see that be the case as well. I mean, this is also a pretty cool item, Tiger going Veil, where you are, I guess that could also be one critique about OGs. You are very reliant on all your spells to do damage, so you're potentially looking at some early BKBs. Ace has got a pipe, which can maybe help mitigate some of that, but of course we're going to imagine Quinn's going to go BKB after the Maelstrom. Big question is when Duraccio wants it though, because we said, you know, Scepter looks very, very good this game. Whether he feels like it's required of a BKB just to be able to maybe give him time to even get towards that third item Scepter. We will see.
We will see, and I really feel like OG's big timing is prior to Quinn getting into this BKB for himself. You know, you can have all of the magic resist that you want with a pipe, but DM is still going to be able to rip through you. All of that is pure damage. You know, a pipe is going to be able to do jack against it, and now he's got that Lotus Orb to be able to make plays with, right? So, you know, you just want to make sure that you're able to convert on a lot of these kill attempts while they don't have that debuff immunity that's going to stop all the pure damage against you.
Gladiators have an incredible high ground ward if they do want to continue with this fight up top of the Rift. But again, they force...
that it's there, though. You know, going for that Fiend's Gate underneath that sort of area. You only really do that sort of play if, like, you're looking to go for a bit of a save, or you've got utmost confidence that you've got the vision advantage. But here's that big timing. Orchid coming out for BZM, playing alongside Seb with the Chakra Magic. You're about to pump it in onto him fairly shortly. Even a Glimmer Cape finished up as well, so more survivability coming through from OG as well.
Is going to be the target of this Orchid reveal. So a quick and easy kill onto the support. And they should be able to chain that into a tier 1 tower as well. With the tower going down, that's going to give Yuragi enough gold for the BKB. And hopefully it's just going to be from lane to lane for OG. You know, like you said, this is their strongest timing, even though the net worth is favoring Gaming Gladiators. So to be the ones being proactive across the map.
Manta style coming through from Duraccio as well, so he feels a lot more capable of joining into these fights. He's not as worried about things like the mischance from the Keeper of the Light. You're not worried about things like the Frostbite as well, looking to affect you. So I wonder if that will cause him to perhaps play a little bit more aggressively. Of course, I didn't even mention the Orchid there. The lane isn't exactly in the best spot for them to be able to make most plays, and Celery's doing a really good job of just from the tree line, shoving it in with the Nether Blast, making sure not to reveal himself for too long on the lane. But I think going in here, he might just end up giving himself up. Maybe not.
I mean, you see the positioning of the heroes on the map, though. There's 4 heroes from OG trying to hunt a Pugno who's, like you said, shoving out a lane and really taking the farm that no one wants on Gaming Gladiators. And meanwhile, Duraccio is getting the Ancients. You got Quinn taking some of the jungle from OG. So, the moment the setup is definitely favoring Radiant.
It is. I really want to see... They've only got 1 Sentry Ward to be able to make a play with, so it's so important that Tiger does get down some of this vision, be able to play around with. So a decent one set up around this tier 2 tower. That's the clear objective that they're looking to play for, and it's all setting up for the next like minute and a half as they ping out Ace coming down towards this bottom side. They know he's here. Got ZM here as well to potentially confirm that kill.
Well, all right, yeah. Oh, he does, but like you said, Pipe's not going to do too much first DM, so able to blow him up. Should be able to slowly chunk down this tier 2 tower. I mean, I guess if there's any critique as well with Dire is you don't really have the greatest way to find objectives, so it'll take you quite some time until the Razor's got plenty of items to help address that. You still have to deal with all your other lanes, because again, Quinn is shoved top, Duraccio's illusions are pushed mid.
Well, they know that, like, someone's going to die on the map for Gaming Gladiators, and they know this, right? They're wanting to make sure that they just get the most efficiency out of the map. Even with these kills, even with this tower going down, the net worth isn't changing. But the important thing for OG is that Roshan's going to move down towards the right side of the map in 30 seconds. So they know with this early oriented draft, they want to be able to make the plays to be able to secure that Roshan really quickly. Luckily for them, they've got Eye of the Storm. It's a little way to get some of that armor reduction into the Roche pit. I mean, if they can look to just yoink away this tier 1 mid tower as well, while they're all playing around the general area, that's going to be a nice little bonus for them. Allow them to have a bit of an easier time to secure more of these power runes because they're just as important as ever.
What do we make of the as well? It's a bit more unconventional because we do see depending on the situation.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed by it, to be honest. I mean, maybe he felt like he really wanted to just keep himself away from the Crystal Maid, and it gives them another way to be able to interrupt things like the freezing field. Also gives them a dispel for when Timber eventually does get into the Aghanim Scepter, because you don't have really a nullifier builder on Gaming Gladiators right now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Feel like they're confident enough to potentially just go into Roche right now. Gaming Gladiators, though, just picking up still a lot of farm for themselves. Going into that Skadi or Duraccio, so it's going to be very effective against the Timbersaw in particular. But really, again, does not go through the BKBs anymore, so really going to be around the BKB usage from Yuragi. Luckily for him, still at level 9, still at 9 seconds. Got a lot to be able to play with. They haven't lost any big objectives off the back of this movement. They're going to be able to TP someone back to be able to defend that mid tower. Feels like Gaming are happy just to make this a farm fest for now. They're out-efficiencying. You know what I'm trying to say. OG right now, they're getting a lot of farm on their heroes because they know that they can take the late game if they get into this point.
Let's see if this is actually a potential fight they want to take. They see no one else come through the twin gate, but they still don't know where the rest of OG are. So potentially DM is baiting. He's also playing very cautiously.
Everyone has TPs as well, so they can very easily look to provide a bit of save to him. Again, he's got a Halberd, he's got a Lotus Orb, he is a Timbersaw just existing on his own, so I think he shouldn't be in too much trouble at all on this top side.
This will be a true test though, right, of how tanky he is. I mean, they were still trying to edge closer and closer, but that DM gets under the tower, he's going to be fine. So, do have the Wisdom Rooms that people need to fall back for as well. Looks like Quinn's going to be able to find their own. And no. So what do we feel like is now kind of the next game plan for OG? You've got this Aegis, you've got items being accumulated very shortly with the Sunjin Kaya as well for BZM. Do you want to try and take this mid tower first and then maybe look at trying to control GG's triangle?
I think so. I mean, mid is the easiest one by far to be able to control at this stage, and they would have seen that Ace just TP'd down to the bottom side of the map, so they know that the only way for him to join in is with the Fiend's Gate. It's, what, 3.5 seconds for him to be able to get to a fight, and luckily for OG, they've got pretty good heroes at being able to burst someone down, so, you know, if they find someone up on this top side of the map or even mid, then, you know, you're going to die before the Underlord gets there with his Atrophy Aura, with his Lotus, with his Pipe of Insight to be able to act as a bit of protection.
Mid lane, a little bit of poking going on. Archer is going to reveal himself inside. Well, they've got the numbers at the moment on Gaming Gladiators, but OG is starting to funnel some more heroes into the area just in case the fight does occur.
Spirit form for Tofu, so he's moving a little faster. Extra cast range as
does
well.
they want to go for him now? Trying to rift in Quinn. That's an aggressive jump with the Remnant. Orchid's on cooldown still for a little bit of time. But of course acting as a deterrent though. OG won't be able to run forward. Won't be forced to retreat back to their side of the map. DM's a little bit weak.
Just gets away. Still had a few seconds on that Lotus Orb, so have been able to purge off that Searing Chains. They're doing a good job at delaying out this Aegis right now. Still have 2.5 minutes on it, and you've got that completed Kaya Sanj for BZM, so he still feels very confident in being able to go for a lot of kills, but GG really don't want to give up this mid tower. It really is the avenue to be able to make a lot of quick smokes into the areas that GG are looking to farm at highest priority, so they're just playing on the safer side of the mid lane. Dragging the creeps into their tankiest hero, and they've got all the boys behind him to be able to provide assistance. Like, you've got Glimmer Cave, you've got, of course, Lift on the Rubik. He can even give the Greater Healing Lotus over to Ace if he gets jumped on, so really does feel like this Underlord is unkillable if the boys are around.
I like this from either side. Minor thing, DM tries to shove bottom to potentially have a wave onto the tier 3 tower that Gaming Gladiators would be missing if they continue to stay around mid, and then we saw Quinn aggressively cutting this mid wave as well, so, well, they won't need the creep wave. Yuragi and BZM just going to be able to tank up the tower.
under attack.
About
I
tier
see
1.
Quinn in
They
some
jump on
danger.
Quinn. He's got the skills, remember.
He's gonna
Quick
get
as
it off,
Tiger's
but
fingers.
Tiger's still nearby with a frostbite. Not quick enough, unfortunately. Quinn, reaction, slight remnant out. Once again, avoiding potential death. Yuragi is showing a lone bottom.
Got BKB, so he should be able to get away. They have nothing right now that's going to be able to go through a BKB TP away, but that's really not what you're wanting to be using it for. You want to be getting as aggressive as you can. Defensive BKBs are a huge loss right now for OG, so... And they look to make plays potentially around this tier 1 tower top. You know, it's still fairly healthy, but again, like we saw from BZM and Yuragi, you can just backdoor it. You know, you can cut all the lanes that you want. But tier 1 towers, they're always going to be pretty easy to be able to take out at this point of the game.
Would you agree with Dota Plus? Currently 35% for Gaming Gladiators, 65 for OG.
Yes, just because I feel like OG haven't really put a foot wrong just yet. I mean, you've also got a Spirit Vessel freshly picked up as well, or the Keeper of the Light, so going to be great against the Underlord and the Morphling. Of course, they've got ways to get out of it with the Manta and the Lotus Orb, but way to be able to chunk through a lot of their HP, be able to prevent the Thunder from giving a lot to him. They really want to get a BKB use, yeah.
Yeah, they won't get it though. Although he has already used the static link, so it's really going to enable Darachu inside the team fight now as Yuragi's losing all his damage. Blinding Light's going to be able to give them some respite. They might jump the Tiger next though with the Crystal Maiden revealing herself on the high ground, so Gaming Gladiators want the easy kill and they'll get it.
Just onto a CM though, at the end of the day, right? You still didn't get that BKB baited out. You've also got Razor, who really is looking for this level 20. He wants to have that extra Storm Surge movement speed. You know, might be able to lock him into plays briefly with like a Pit of Malice, but you're always going to be able to chase these people down. Right now, Seb, he is the main target for a lot of the aggression. They can jump onto him. That would take away the big steroid that BZM is looking to play around with. And it's a Scythe of Vice being queued up from everyone. They realize how important it is to be able to just, again, it's the burst potential. You know, you can Manta off, you can Lotus Orb off a lot of these things. Scythe of Vice, not so much. You know, you're really going to need to rely on the supports once those two items come out for both Seb and BZM. You were mentioning before their lack of tower damage as well. That's why DM, excuse me, is going into the flamethrower just to provide them a little bit of that extra output.
Radiant's top tower.
Interesting ward from Tiger.
It'd be pretty effective at spotting them.
See what they can do with it though. Early Manta Force. Pretty nice target from BZM if they can get rid of the Pugna. But Ace wants to get involved as well. Maybe this is the fight that Gaming Gladiators can take with all 5 heroes nearby. Yuragi hasn't used the BKB just yet. Will force to do so to escape. And now DM has no one nearby. OG, they try and take a fight. They didn't have the numbers advantage. So I'm not sure where Seb was. They just funnel into the area and Gaming Gladiators is more than happy with that.
Yeah, they didn't have the supports to support. That was the big issue, right? Like, all of their previous fights that have gone well has been Seb, you know, using that blinding light to prevent a lot of the damage coming through. Like, Morphling's illusions were doing a lot just to give...
Oh, he didn't zip! No, he didn't zip again! Oh, BZM!
Got the Wisdom Rune, though.
Oh, yeah, dude, worth.
They would love for this to go over to Tofu. Unlucky. Oh no, he's already bought it up.
Got it.
Yeah, Celery able to get it. So good itemization coming through from the Gaming Gladiator supports. And I mean, it really shows how important it is for OG to just continue to ball up as much as possible. So Gaming Gladiator's style of just, you know, splitting the map up, getting 2 lanes at the cost of 1, giving an occasional kill here and there, it's paying off. You know, 4K net worth lead, they got nothing out of that first Aegis on OG. And now they're kind of on the back foot, where they, you know, have this extra Tormentor, they've got this level advantage, they're almost into that Aghanim Scepter as well, or Duraccio, just 600 gold away. So this is going to be a very scary timing for OG. They really feels like they haven't made the most of when they were strongest.
No, not at all. But a lot of that is also props given to Gaming and what they were able to do across the map with just stalling this one out. Maybe that's, you know, kind of the weakness with OG, and a lot of your control they itemize to make sure that wasn't an issue on Gaming Gladiators. I mean, Quinn sees 7 issues, gonna run him down. There's really nothing they need to fear at this stage of the game. Dai got nothing out of that Aegis, and well, now what was a 65% for OGs, now a 55%, and you've, like you said, really gotten out of the scary stage of this game.
Going towards a nullifier on the Razor, so they really want to prevent a lot of that save potential coming through from the Glimmer Cape, from the Decrep. 4 staffs, they've got multiple glimmers. Like, there's so much save potential for whoever gets jumped on first. It's kind of like playing with an IO on Gaming Gladiators without actually having an IO for themselves. You know, they've just got all of this save, and it's all for the single target, which OG's draft is almost entirely based around.
Rosha's spawned. Up top, though, OG already starting to get themselves set up, though, for the eventual move down to bottom. Underlord just completed a Hex. That's a big item for this smoke fight.
It is, but all of OG are at least in relatively close proximity this time around.
Not near Uragi, though. It's gonna pop. It's up to Ace to start with the Hex. He's gonna be able to reveal it, and they should have to telekinesis before the BKB as well. What a Hex reveal. You couldn't have asked for a better person to kill to start the fight as well, as now OG just trying to look to cut their losses, and no one else will die. But now you completely sacrifice. Oh, they're actually looking for a kill on BZM because they see he's out of mana. Ace, oh, what a read from Gaming Gladiators. Move in with the gate, get the Hex out, another kill. They'll even be able to spy out Tiger as well. There is no escape for the poor old Wolf. More and more kills given over to Gladiators, and Thoraccio is already starting Roche.
He's just gonna solo it, basically. I mean, that's all they need at this point of the game. Morphling, he's not as strong in the laning stage as he used to be. You know, the potential for that Aghanim Scepter buff isn't quite as strong as it used to be, but he is still one of those hard counters towards the Timbersaw, and he still hits like an absolute truck in this late stage. So big props need to be given over to Gaming Gladiators for recognizing they're just, again, they're playing the delay game slightly, but any sort of chance that you can get to be able to just find a pick off, prevent them from getting into their next items. Saw the importance of the Scythe Vice, right, on the Underlord, but they're going for triple Scythe Vice on OG right now, and they don't want to let them get to it. He's actually changed it up. He's gone to BKB now. Feels like he needs a little bit more survivability. Which, kind of crazy as a Timber, right?
Yeah. Yes, indeed it is.
I wonder if he needs to do this, right? He's almost hit up onto level 20. So he's going to be able to have that extra 20% magic resist. Spies up the Ogre Axe for now. Would potentially change that into the Aghanims, but again, you're going up against Quinn, who's got this Yule Scepter as well, and he's been pretty good with his casting of it, right? Yes. While he's in the Slide of Fist, he's actually using that as the extra physical range to be able to get into a space to be able to cast it onto these squishier backlines.
And here comes the siege. How creative OG are going to be able to get with their defense. I mean, currently you still have Uragi outside the base completing the Nullifier, which will be done after this camp. So he's got no more camps.
Come back and sell the magic wand. Pretty necessary. I mean, to me, it's still Ember Spirit that's the main target, right?
DM, early BKB. Ace just gonna get blinding light push back inside the base, but the Underlord is incredibly tanky. And now Quinn's gonna be able to jump Uragi as well. They want to try and force up the BKB. They won't be able to do so, but OG, they start the fight without all of their heroes nearby, and now it's gonna be a 4v5. They do force the buyback out of Tiger, though. Might be able to deal with the first, like, great reactions Hex from Ace, but BZM, Jen's going to be able to hold him into place, but that's where Dim comes into play with the Lotus Orb. He doesn't have it for himself now, though. Could be vulnerable, but Gaming Gladiators not going to give OG an opportunity to potentially find a way back in with diving deeper inside the base. They're going to try and refill up in the resources and maybe go for another push. I mean, or wait for the Satanic, which Thoraccio now has.
Boy. At least get rid of the vision they've got here for Tiger. So haven't lost the tier 3 tower just yet, but this lead is continuing to grow more and more and more. Seb, he's got a lot of money saved up though. 5,000 gold, getting so close to being able to just purchase up that Scythe of Ice in its entirety.
Oh, aggressive waveform, Seb. She's gonna die inside the base. Another buyback expended out of one of the OG supports, and how are you going to be able to address the Morphling? Look at the positioning from Thoraccio.
I don't know if
nothing he needs to fear.
He's still got Satanic. He's still got the Aegis to be able to play around with. You've got a lot of other heroes making your life a whole lot more challenging. That Scythe of Vice on a Storm Spirit without a BKB. Just gonna
Tiger, that took 3 kills. He pulled back. All right, 4v5 now. And
Find
that's
another.
also a second dieback. 3v5 now as Gaming Gladiators. They are just crippling OG. We have not seen them be able to do anything for the span of the last 10 minutes. Riyadh might even die under the tier 4 tower as well. They are just dancing in and out. Perfect team fight engagement. Hex is there, waiting for the telekinesis chain control. It is all the reigning champions here throughout the DPC year in Gaming Gladiators. Well, they're going to be able to take game 1 pretty convincingly.
Yes, they will, and, you know, in 35 minutes. Most of the time, when you expect to see, you know, an OG game finishing in 35 minutes, you're pretty happy because they play this aggressive style, but it was really that 20 to 25 minute mark where they had the Aegis, they had full control over the game. You still hadn't reached into this Aghanim Scepter, you didn't have the Scythe of Vice, or a lot of these other tools that Gaming Gladiators needed to be able to, you know, take this full-on engagement. DM as well, he was incredibly strong at that period too, but they were just able to manipulate the map. Celery, just his positioning in that tree line, constantly keeping the waves. Shadow pushed in as a pugner, meant that they were having to make far too many defensive movements, and GG took advantage.
Yep, even, of course, Quinn as well, with the Ember Spirit, we saw him do that too. So just the read from Gaming Gladiators to be able to split the map and just stall this one out. I mean, they got nothing out of the Ages on OG. Maybe a tier 2 bot, maybe a tier 1 mid as well, but really, you're more than happy with if that's what they get over the 5 minutes. So, you know, I will say I was quite impressed with like the 15 to like 22 minute mark or something like that from OG when they had like a 3,000 deficit where they took a couple of incredible fights, but it just felt like the class from GG was a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they just have a little bit of a better understanding right now at how to like influence the map, I guess is the best way to put it, right? And it just forced OG to make a lot of moves that they didn't want to.
Which puts them now with a 1-game lead here in our first series of the night for Gaming Gladiators. So, yeah, we also can go back and mention as well, just off the back of the start, even though, you know, it did go into OG's favor like 20 minutes in, that ace lane, that should not go how it did. I mean, you should not be top net worth and about like 1,000 lead over a Razor. So, like we were saying, Ace and Tofu, a damn good player, damn good duo as well. Somehow they always are able to edge out victories in lanes where it really should not be going their way at all. So, Gaming Gladiators, they strike first in our first series of the night. Let's see if OG are going to be able to find a way to get a 1-1 tie. We'll see you guys after the break.
الحياة لحن، ولأننا جزء من مقطوعة عظيمة تحركنا، تلمسنا، تصنع من لحظاتنا ذكريات بديعة. لأن الوجبة، التجربة، المغامرة يعطيك بعد جديد في هيلتون الرياض.
All new Honor Magic 5 Pro. Freeze even fleeting emotions in just milliseconds. Take marvelous night shots with lightning-fast exposure. The display reveals more details in bright areas with an astonishingly long battery life that just keeps going. The latest flagship chipset brings you exceptional performance. Unleash the power of magic. Honor Magic 5 Pro.
If time were to stand still, if I had a say, where I'd run to, where I would lay. could decide where I should remain, where I would hide. If time were to stand still,
Well, 35-minute victory on the dot gives the boys on Gaming Gladiators a advantage here heading into game 2. And we all know there's a lot on the line here for the last series of the tournament as well. Well, I should say last series of the group stage. Potentially not of the tournament. Well, maybe it could be for OG though. They really need to get this win under their belt. They're currently 5-8 with that loss. I mean, you would hate to be 5-9. You're going to be really relying on some other games going 1-1, potentially. Well, I should say some 0-2s over
they
there
need the
as
win.
Well.
They need the win. Period.
Okay, simple as
that's
that.
it. Because EG and Extreme are playing each other, so one of them's going to get wins, or both of them. So with that win, actually, Gaiman are safe. They are not going to get eliminated. They're at least lower bracket. So big sigh of relief for them there. They want to keep that undefeated streak alive for them. Also, I believe 9 Pandas won their game 1 against Team Spirit, so they're safe too. So not going to be a 5-way tiebreaker. There's still potential for the 4-way tiebreaker, though, depending on results going one way or another. But it all comes down to this. Gaiman, this time around, they chose first pick, clearly wanting to try and get that IO available for themselves. Gaiman are just going to ban out the Enigma every single time. Love the Coddle ban as well. I think if you could just play regular Dota, Gaiman are going to win, let's say 80% of the time. Like, there's a reason that they've won the past 5 major tournaments in a row. You know, they just are damn good at this game. OG nearly got the edge on them, but that laning stage went far too well for Ace. They were able to secure the first 3 power runes, and then they were just able to drag the game out long enough. But OG, even with all that stuff going their way in the first, 10 or so minutes for Gaming Gladiators, OG still had a legitimate shot. They just weren't able to fully connect together. So I'm interested to see where they go now with their choices.
5 seconds
This is where we get to find out. Straight away, Gaming Gladiator is going to be able to... Oh no. What a rude mother. So I wonder if already... I mean, OG could be speaking about something like a Spirit Breaker. You know, we've seen DM has played it multiple times. You have the potential for Tiger to play it, for Seb to play it. It is definitely one of the better Broodmother responses. You could even be thinking of like Storm +1. You can't Storm or Eye or Coddle though, so... and we know the Pugner is definitely not as good as what it was prior. Maybe you are considering about trying it though, with how good Storm is versus Brood.
It's a possibility, for sure. I'm also just thinking of other potential options. Like, I don't mind the Timbersaw, right? DM didn't have an amazing time last time around. The CM is fine as well. You can put it 4, you can put it 5. I think OG actually had 100% win rate with the Crystal Maiden prior to that game. So it's something that's going to be very good for them in the lane. I almost wonder if they might try something completely out of left field and go like a Yuragi Pudge with this one.
5 seconds remaining.
Even you could even look at the Naga as well, right? In the second phase. I mean, probably the issue with you not wanting to pick the Naga heroes because the Brood can potentially be played for Doracho in the safe lane. So maybe that's where, that's a lot of value with the Timber and the CM. These are 2 heroes that Timber addresses the Brood in the off lane, Crystal Maiden addresses the Brood in the safe lane. So other way, kind of works. Depends which way you look at the off lane and safe lane, but
they're keeping it open for themselves. Yes. And like I wouldn't. Would I hate a Bloodseeker here? It does take away some of their flex. All right, they're just going to go for a Pangolier, so maybe banning out Bloodseeker for themselves. Obviously, pretty decent against both the Brood and the Pango. Of course, it's a absolute Quinn staple. This Pangolier. So it's going to need them to be a little bit more out of the box, right? I mean, the Pango Rolling Thunder, you're still able to dodge out a lot of that Timbersaw damage. You really don't have a ton of lockdown for them right now, so maybe that's where Gaming Gladiators are going to focus a lot of their attempts, banning out a lot of this team fight control. There's the Bloodseeker gone, good against both cores, and now I really wouldn't be surprised to see it be like... what's Seb been playing lately outside of the Keeper of the Light? Phoenix, not too great. Enigma, already banned out. Elder Titan, not so much. I mean, you couldn't get away with a 4 Doom in this, I don't think. It would just run you over. So I think Seb's going to need to go something a little bit more out of left field this time around that he hasn't been playing both in his pubs as well as in the pro game so far.
With the Pango pick as well, do you feel like this means that Gaming don't have to ban the Naga with how the Pango is able to address the illusions?
Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not as sold on it, right? Because we don't exactly see Pango go Maelstrom a lot anymore. It's much more of the Diffusal Blade straight into the Ags and, be a little bit more of that team fight threat. Like, I completely understand that the build is still viable, but it really just isn't the way that it's being played in recent times. And of course, you can eventually just get that net onto the Rolling Thunder and have that be a nice little tool as well. You can even just song and disengage from a Rolling Thunder too. I'm also thinking, just with Seb, we were talking about a bunch of different heroes, and I've completely lost my train of thought ever since we started. Wind Ranger, that's the one. So you could just pick it, having a little bit of flex, right? It's fine enough for the mid lane for BZM. I doubt you would run it for Yuragi, but against a Broodmother, against a Pango, feels very viable, and we know that Seb is very capable on that hero too.
Do you know if he's played it so far in the groups?
Not in the groups.
10 seconds remaining.
But, I mean, he's Grandmaster on it.
Yes,
so
of course, yeah. Has
he
he
knows what's up.
Has he put out the Earthshaker yet as well?
No, I don't think so.
Some Seb classics that we are fortunately not being able to bear witness to, but we'll see what we get to see from OG. Of course, they're going to have the 15th pick heading out of the second phase of bans. Probably going to continue to put some emphasis on supports.
Turn to ban.
There's a Sky ban. We've seen a lot of Sky bans whenever the Timbersaw has been picked up early in the first phase.
I mean, surely one of the better heroes at being able to counter you. I mean, you could just easily go for Celery Enchantress here, right? So good on the hero. He's able to obviously deal with Timbersaw in the lane. You could stay far enough away from the Crystal Maiden that her lockdown and her AoE damage really isn't too much of a factor. And, I mean, you're even capable of rotating it, being like Celery playing it with Tofu's lane. With Ace's lane, if it is going to be an off-lane Brood this time around. Still looking to get rid of that SB, just in case it was a BZM mid-timber, but yeah, I suppose that would have been still a relatively good pick. I want to see this Wind Ranger from Seb, and then the downside is the Ench becomes even better then, right? Like, you have the enchant against the Wind Run, to be able to stop that, stop a lot of the threat. You're not exactly the easiest hero to kill still, even with the Focus Fire, and let's be honest, you're not wanting to Focus Fire an Enchantress.
No, definitely not. This is a support. So let's see. They're going to get rid of the Pugner as well. I mean, Sully had a pretty good Pugner game previously, and they obviously feel like that was maybe one of the bigger issues for DM as well. So 3 supports banned out in the second phase for OG. Now we're going to be looking for our Seb hero.
He's played a bit of the Venge as well. So swap not horrible against the Brood and the Pango, gives a little bit of vision as well. Another 4 that's able to make a few stacks, or the Timbersaw. Oh, they actually just yoink it away. I mean, I'm fine with this, right? I really feel like Gaming Gladiators would have gone down that sort of route. It's just a matter of, you need someone to be able to lock down this Pango and Broodmother, and right now it's only Crystal Maiden. So that's the bigger issue that I'm seeing here. As Gaming Gladiators, we saw how good they were against a draft that did have lockdown at being able to still just split the map up. And, that was a draft that came online really early. I suppose OG have a pretty early oriented draft this time around too, but it just isn't like broken in certain scenarios where you can just always end the game in 25 minutes. 9 feels pretty solid just to get them out of that laning stage too.
Yeah, another Celery Undying game. Up to 527.
Just 527.
10 seconds.
Man, how
remaining.
you must turn into a zombie when you play that many games of Undying. It's just like,
5
I'm
seconds
spamming
remaining.
decay. Like, what am I doing now?
Yeah, kind of be like that. Definitely an interesting hero. We got the Tofu Mirana as well, so a bit of a way to address the Enchantress. They don't have like any stun setups, which is one thing, but of course Mirana is able to offer you a whole lot. Despite that, potentially very versatile in regards to your item build. Could be thinking of something like a Spirit Vessel to deal with the Timbersaw at maybe the early stage.
Arrow nice for the Enchantress as well, if you're looking to stop some of the like annoying split push style if you get a Dark Troll Summoner. So yeah, I like it. Tofu is able to go into it. Again, you're a universal hero, so Atos feels like a nice little progression. Can lock the Timbersaw into place, can enable the Broodmother and the Pango to have a little bit more impact. Still feels like they're like a damage to me. I feel like Gaming are going to be able to run away from the majority of what OG are putting towards them. So basically their big question is, what are we most comfortable with that's going to be able to provide a lot of this extra lockdown? I think not sure if it's BZM or Yuragi, one of them had been practicing a little bit of the Meepo. I know it's not great against the Pangolier. Ember Spirit's just fine though, right? AoE damage, some lockdown. To me, this is really around like, all right, well, can we get a Lotus Orb? Can we get Guardian Greaves? Can we just prevent this Ember Spirit from having a solid enough start? Is pretty early timings though, again though, right? Just the Phase Boots, Wand, Orb of Corrosion. You can make a lot of stuff happen with CM and Enchantress. You can also just do a lot with your Maelstrom, especially against the Broodmother, to be able to stop that sort of push, which they were kind of lacking a little bit. And then that BKB, there's really nothing that you're worried about from that point forward. You're just looking to rush forward. So OG, I like it when they play aggressive style. It's just not as good of an aggressive style as what we saw last game. So it's really just going to come down to doing the fundamentals. One thing I also want to make sure that they do is, you don't have quite the same potential for rotations, but I want to see them put an Observer Ward up near that Twin Gate. Celery just fixing a really hard lane for them gave Gaming Gladiators that game 1 win.
Yeah. Yeah, always very impressed with how often he looks to rotate through the portal. So let us see though. Gaming, of course, going to have to reveal where the Brood is going. Are we, with the current setup that OG have, would you have a preference of the Brood avoiding the Timbersaw lane?
I mean, against the Timbersaw lane, I feel like you could stay in it, at least until Timber's level 6, right? And it's not like you lack the potential to be in the jungle. Overall, I know it is Ace that plays a little bit more than Duraccio does, but I have a preference for, like, position 1 Brood just because of the scaling potential, and you need a few more levels, and I feel like position 1 Brood is afforded that, whereas Pos 3, you need to be a little bit more, like, team fight involved.
I guess with gaming as well, what else do we feel like maybe some of the weaknesses are that they currently have with their draft that maybe this last pick can fix?
Wouldn't mind a little bit more stuns for them, right? Like, it's a pretty decent Ember game just on its own, unless you're landing the perfect arrows or you're getting into that ATOS. And then, of course, once he's got the BKB, you're not really going to have too much to worry about, so wouldn't hate seeing them going for something that does give them a little bit of that threat. Like, if they can get away with an Ace Doom, I really wouldn't hate to see something like that. You can just look to run down some of these squishier heroes, good against the Timbersaw with both the Infernal Blade and the Doom. Blink Warstomp, always going to be very effective to set up for things like the Arrow. I think they could really make it work. Even just, there's a lot of options, right? Beastmaster, very viable. Something that Ace has been playing a lot in recent times. Not really a Darkseer game. And if it's a position 1 for Duraccio, not really a Faceless Void game, I wouldn't think. I think that just leaves them a little bit too farm-centric if they went down that sort of avenue. I'd be much more comfortable with like a Brood 1 and then a playmaking offlaner.
OG are still covering their tracks nonetheless with banning out some of the carry heroes for Duraccio. So you got rid of the Morphling, got rid of the Dusar as well.
Morphling against Timber just has to be banned every single time in my eyes, and maybe they just felt like Gaiman weren't going to go for an earlier morph pick than now, just because they would have always had the ability to respond to it. One of the advantages of second pick. So Gaiman are going to choose Underlord. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit more of that team fighter. Again, solid enough lane with the Mirana. It gives a little bit of lockdown, of course, with the Pit of Malice for things like the Arrow, and we saw their Ace is not shy at going into something like that Scythe of Vice once he's finished his early survivability items. Of course, this is another one of those games that Lotus is really effective.
Run it back.
You think?
Or the Razor. Run it
they
back.
can just run away, though, man. Other
Run
than
it back.
Nah, I don't think so.
Run it back. You're crazy.
Not the Yuragi Tesla coil.
Oh, I mean, it should be still a good lane. And plus, it's how, it's a hero that's able to also come online pretty early on. I mean, you could potentially be looking for something like an Ursa as well.
I want a Slark.
Oh, yeah, sure. I like Slark.
Early, like, you can still get disarmed, but, whatever. Again, they do lack some sort of control for you. You've at least got a little bit more mobility for that early stages. And yeah, like once you get into that Aghanim Scepter, you're really able to scout out heroes like that Broodmother, like the Pangolier, and you've got the damage to be able to confirm a lot of the kills.
You may now select your
Schlock.
Is he Aussie?
Right.
Or is he like Cockney British? He doesn't sound Aussie to me.
No, he does not sound Aussie at all.
But he is a criminal, so, you know, we kind of have to blame him.
I don't have to claim shit, dude. I don't know. What are you trying to say? I'm a criminal? What the hell? That is... No.
I like the last pick. I like the last pick out of OG. What do you reckon?
No, I like it a lot as well. Sorry, I was just trying to... I was hearing the voice line trying to see if you was Aussie or not. No, I really like the last pick as well for OG, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do. Of course, I mean, there is always the potential that sometimes Slark's fighting into Firestorm and early points in Starstorm. Like, if Tofu can somehow get level 3 to decent timing in the lane, that can be a little bit scary for Uragi to fight into that. I think, again, it felt like very similar to last game. We have to put a lot of emphasis on the supports rotations, you know, whether it be securing water runes, whether it be Celery rotating through the portal. I think there's even a lot of value, you know, Seb even rotating through the portal with a creep.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. That's the one that I really think needs to happen this time. OG need to play a game of Gladiators game because they cannot let Ace get off to the same sort of start that he did in game number 1, and I really feel like they've got the lineup to do so. Fast Dota wins games in my eyes, especially if you're going for a little bit more of a greedy lineup. The thing is, Game of Gladiators, this draft isn't exactly greedy, right? You've got one really farming core, you've got Ace that's going to be able to get his farm, but of course is still able to join into a lot of these engagements with that Dark Rift, and we've seen how impactful he can get, especially if he gets that really early farm. So that's where I want to see a lot of the attention being given to. Make sure you make rotations, get onto Ace, kill him a few times to prevent Tofu from making those rotations away from the lane and securing the power ins for Quinn. That's how OG are going to win this game.
All right, well, let us see how those supports are going to be freed up, though, because, you know, that kind of also starts from how the first couple of minutes go. You need to have pretty good time to protect the cores, get them those early stat items, whatever items they need, and then maybe those supports will be freed up to make those rotations. So we'll have to see early on how the lanes get set up and what is going to be the difference between these two. But of course, like we were saying, to start this game, OG, this is a must win. If they lose this game, they will be eliminated out of the Riyadh Masters. So a win here gives you tiebreaker potential. So
potential, yes. They would be praying for a 1-1 between Extreme and EG, and then there would be a tiebreaker for one spot in the lower bracket, and then the other two would be eliminated.
Let us see if they get lucky enough. But of course, I mean, at least some you got to hope for results.
They don't have all the boys, and GG do. Tiger can't look to give this one up for free. He's going to be able to back off in time, or is it going to be BZM that gets caught? Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that blood grenade.
Tiger. Oh,
see ya.
All right, Quinn. Well played indeed.
Again, how many times do you see a lane that should be advantageous to one side, and then suddenly first blood gets given over to the disadvantaged one, and you know what? It's just a-okay. Especially Quinn on his Pango. Not quite level 30, level 29 on the old Dota Plus. Just to take this game up, spam the hero a little bit more.
Disappointing. Come on now.
What's your most number of hero
I don't know, like 12
Sorry,
or
wait up. Hold up, DM. 12?
Maybe, yeah.
You've only played 12 games on your most played hero.
Oh, did you say games? I thought you said level. I can check. You just gotta give me a second. I gotta remember how to do this.
It's very complicated, I know. You are a zoomer, but it should be pretty simple for you. At least Tiger's able to get off this D ward on the bottom side, so they've got that going for them. So look to try and take that one out. Come on, spit me out the number.
Wait. Year or time? 82.
80. Oof. Do you want to have a guess at my wife in games?
Like 572.
Oh, keep going up. 1,483.
Oh no.
Love the hero.
Oh no. That's just, it's such a boring hero to play that many games as well.
Disagree. Undying is a boring hero, and I wonder if Celery feels bored at it, but...
Nah, come on, dude. You know what's not boring is winning that freaking money. You know how rich this dude is now? 5 championships. Yeah, I'll play Undying as many times as I've won, and he's definitely feeling the same.
You know what? If I kept winning, I would do it as well. Yeah. So that's the important thing at the end of the day. That's the important thing for OG. Win, and you're potentially in. Lose, and you're out. That's what I love about these last days, you know? The high-stakes games. That's really where a lot of the fun, a lot of the entertainment comes in, where know, it really comes down to, of course, the teamwork, but some of the individual plays really need to be that next level one coming through, you know?
Yeah, because with that being said, like day 1, day 2, and day 3, they are all very, very important games as well.
Mid?
As Quinn... Whoa, almost going down. They are also very important games, but you don't kind of have the standings to be able to back it up. It's much easier to be like, oh, they lose this game and they're out. But honestly, if you won one of those other games, you know, potentially against a different opponent, if you didn't get 2-0, then you wouldn't be in this position. So that's kind of thing with the last day. All the games are settled, much easier to be able to determine what's going on.
And just off the back of that first blood as well, I mean, Quinn had the bottle finished up before that power rune spawned. BZM's just got it coming out to him now, so he's not actually going to get that full bottle sip and the refill. He's just going to get the fresh lot delivered from base, trying to get a couple of tower hits in the Searing Chains, but not quite there.
How the other side lane's looking at the moment. Yuragi down bottom. 8-0 compared to the 11-2. So, of course, I mean, this is, I think, a lane where Radiant will be able to play a little bit more aggressive, but like we said, kind of towards the end of the draft, that Gaming Gladiators with their spells can definitely prevent that from occurring once they find their levels.
Yeah, like, it does feel like you can potentially get kills in this lane as OG, but they've just got so much mobility, right? Like, not going super greedy with the Starstorm on Tofu, just making sure that the lane is pushed back so that he's able to yoink away that Lotus, so now he's even more survivable. He just wants to have that leap available to be able to get away from Yuragi, even if he does land the perfect pounce in onto him. The other positive side, of course, is that the lane fairly heavily pushed up towards Gaming Gladiators tower, so that rotation that we were talking about from Seb is not going to be enabled to happen just because of this fact.
What is this Seder doing, man? I mean, I don't blame you when your Pango's 18-8 compared to the 10-4 on BZM. Yeah, you're gonna need to start to bring in some random creeps here and there. So Quinn's gonna make
standing there menacingly.
Oh, it's a mana, is it? Stolen? Oh, I guess it's dependent on the intel, but still, regardless, a decent chunk. So
used to be like 100, which was stupid.
And man, the Rush here is just free farming this top lane, 25-6 compared to the 16-0. I'm also a little bit surprised at how well of a start that the Broodmother has had.
I am as well, and well, Tofu, he's making that rotation towards mid. What a surprise! Not exactly something completely out of the ordinary. Is Tofu, he just wants to go for more. He wants creeps, but he might end up dying for it.
Kind of messed up. He's got Fairy Fire still to play with. Maybe he didn't mess up. Healing Lotus shooters as well. Jumps on over away from BZM, but Tiger lives on about 25 health, and gonna look for the deny. Thought about it, but nope.
He's got the Tango going, he's got the clarity. I'm like, ooh, don't die now, my man. This is the important thing, right? It's one of those deaths that if he was able to get the kill and the career, he would have still been able to, make that TP rotation back towards mid, model refill. But it's not needed. Quinn, he's just so set up by this early game, by that first blood, that he's in a very healthy spot.
Also, just to mention with that fight that we saw down at the bottom jungle, there was also one top where they got the kill into Seb's Enchantress, so Dyrachio was the one rewarded with that. And we're already level 4, is being able to zone out DM with that insatiable hunger.
Nowhere near as strong as it used to be though, right? Longer cooldown, much higher mana cost, and as a Broodmother, especially a position 1 Broodmother, you're not really wanting to go into something like, the Soul Ring and this sort of stuff. Seb is just yoinking away those last hits in front of DM's face, and I'm sure he's saying, come on, man. I need to be able to stay in this lane. I need my Vanguard early on.
That first rotation out of Cellular, though, completely avoids the Watcher. Went the long way around the stairs. And they do have a cliff ward. I mean, meanwhile, there's just a solo kill mid lane from Quinn. Dude, what is Quinn on, man? I don't know. This guy is... I know he got first blood. Sure, that's an advantage, but
it's a huge advantage, man.
Dumpstering mid. He's dumpstering mid, dude. He might get solo killed as well from Tiger. There's even a wraparound as well from Seb. That's a really needed kill from OG, because otherwise...
Nice caster curse there.
Yeah, sorry, Quinn.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh,
you have a Q's into you, you know what will happen. And is ending in 20 minutes, probably less. Celery might be in a little bit of danger here, but you can't stay around for too long with Pango just about to respawn, but maybe with the haste rune, they're going to feel confident enough. Gee, it's like they'll just run away from this tombstone, though. This big conga line that EM's got for the top lane. Very safe, right next to his tower. Should be able to get into that Vanguard and really enable a few more of these Seb rotations. We can see on the TP down from Tiger towards the bottom lane. I don't think he's got the Tranquils finished up for himself, but again, like, it's just this lane positioning. Ace is always farming in the safest place possible that you're never able to make this such key rotation that Seb absolutely wants to be doing. In it Seb, he wants to be farming as well at the same time, but that's what's going to allow you to do it, not needing to prioritize another kill for Quinn.
The rune of haste.
I don't know if you can do this, BZM. Maybe onto Celery.
Do what he can to protect his captain. Get the kills. He's been able to strike back a couple of times off the back of the lane, but still, I mean, all the Gladiators are thriving right now. Doraccio rivaling Quinn's net worth, being able to, you know, maybe this lane gets a little bit different. Well, actually, mid lane, what's going on here? Quinn, I'm gonna use the Rolling Thunder, won't even need it. Tower with the last right click, dude. Quinn, 1v3, and then you also have Yuragi going down bottom.
This is not how this game was meant to be going, man. Like, everything, it feels like, does come back to that first blood. Like, I know this bottom lane still probably would have gone about the same, but you've just needed to make so many more rotations towards that mid lane to lessen the damage.
Oh, a little bit awkward.
One remnant left.
Dude, what is that damage? Why is DM getting tipped?
Probably because he's 2 levels behind on a Timbersaw against a Brood Mother that's nowhere near as strong as it used to be. Doesn't feel great. Still not into that Vanguard. It's 8.5 minutes.
They're not leaving mid. Dude, where's BZM gonna go? We can't come. Hey, they just kill Seb? Did they wait for the Ember? Quinn's gonna miss on the Swashbuckler now. You know, the Penko is lacking some mana.
Tower damage.
Should be able to get the kill on the Tofu. Another leap into the river. As well, BZM's on the hunt. Another round of the slight secures the kill, so we're 1-for-1. A little bit messy, I suppose, for gaming gladiators.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You know what? They'll take what they can get. This is something that OG are like, man, we need levels. Because right now, Pango's got 3 on BZM. You've also got 2 in your side lanes, and it was meant to a good Slark game. Is just in an absolute cakewalk for the Underlord. Just doing his thing, right? He's going to be able to sit back and farm once again underneath the tower. I mean, if something that wasn't going perfectly for them, there's not a lot of stacks built up, but they don't need it. You know, lane creeps are worth more than jungle creeps, so why not just stick in the lanes for as long as possible? Win as well with the fresh Diffusal Blade picked up. Looking to make rotations with Tofu.
9-minute Diffusal.
Yep.
Okay. And Ace is just going to bait. He's got Mechanism Sword already. Quinn's going to pop out. Almost just one hits Tiger with a Swashbuckle. They'll be able to get the Crystal Maiden. Quinn's already looking for a +1. Now, BZM is going to move down to bottom. But there doesn't look like there's much that the Ember can really do to earn this team fight. Maybe it's up to DM to rotate. That we saw was a big factor in game 1. But he will cancel his own TP.
Indeed, and he's just going to go up into Doraccio again. Again, he's got the Vanguard, so much less vulnerable to this sort of attempt. Any other hero would just be dying to this, but he's going to be able to use that reactive armor to just be a-okay.
Oh, he got a regen.
Now,
Oh,
he can get an Arcane Boots as well if he wants to, just to be able to assist. Are there any stacks for him to be able to take? Doesn't look like it. He can just up the wave again. Just kill Tiger behind the tower. Yeah, so Pango's still pretty busted. You know, first 2-3 levels, a lot weaker, of course, with that dash range from the Swashbuckle, but he is still as dangerous as ever.
Behold my searing gaze.
they will unfortunately lose the catapult on GG, but it's like it should not be too much of an issue. With all the attention they're putting on mid, it means that OG are forced to leave their side lane. So again, Doraccio is continuing to free farm, Ace is continuing to free farm. They're going to try and...
You know this is coming, though, because there's a double wave hitting the top tower. So, you know, the amount of information that this gives away is enormous. You know, we were talking about in game 1 GG's potential to influence the lanes. This is something that enables them to go for a lot of their smokes because they never let that sort of situation happen. Now, smoke used for not really too much gain, people moving away, missing a lot of experience, and the net worth lead is just continuing to grow for gaming.
One's going to pop out of the tree line. Should be able to secure the kill with the help of Tofu. And mid lane, they were making an attempt on Sallow. Look at Ace, dude, just not even letting it Undying be under some threat at all. He was in with the Rift, and then if they want to, he can... Even Quinn and Tofu are actually going to pop out of the Rift as well. I guess you got the power runes up shortly that they want to get.
Yep, power runes, also potentially some damage into this tier 1 tower. They're just constantly hugging the towers. Like, what are you supposed to do against this? They at least will get the deny onto the mid tier 1, so a little bit of gold going OG's way, but they're feeling confident enough to just dive Seb underneath the tier 2, 12 minutes in.
Oh. Oh my god, it's so disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, this is like a GG major winning draft with like the Broodmother substituted out for something else, you know, a Terrorblade or something like that. Everything else just screams Gaming Gladiators right now.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, and it's crazy as well because, I mean, this is, you know, the Broodmother 1 is going to be something that we'll continue to see Gladiators pick up because I think a lot of Eastern European carries right now have some, I'd say probably some of the better position 1 Broodmothers. You put Ramses there, Victoria's got a mean one as well, so this is very scary being able to add that to the wheelhouse because we all know Ace has probably got one of the better offlane broods too, so 8,000 net worth.
Scans even on point, man.
Yeah.
They scan the fact that they're coming down towards here. I mean, they've got the vision, right? That early Observer Ward put down by Celery inside of the Ancients area will look to be able to just obliterate Seb. EZM, he does not have the damage to be able to take any sort of team fight at this stage.
Look at Celery, dude. Just running into 3 up the high ground where he doesn't have to worry about anything. Meanwhile, Uragi as well is getting blocked from Duraccio. Trying to look for a pounce angle. They'll miss on the swashbuckle. Uragi will be able to get out of danger. They might just turn to DM instead. Let's see if the Vanguard's going to be enough to... Jesus Christ. Yeah, alright, never mind. The Vanguard ain't going to do shit. The Gaming Gladiators, they are so far ahead. 10k net worth lead in the 14-minute mark. And this is just a, must say, kind of a depressing way for OG to go out of the tournament.
Yeah, if it continues like this. I mean, it's 14 minutes, there's a Wisdom Rune spawning, supports don't even have their ultimates yet. So it never really feels like you can be playing, you know, Enchantress in this aggressive way like she wants to be. You know, she's supposed to be, you know, putting herself out in front of a tower, making you rotate to be able to deal with her, especially if you're not doing the most out of the laning stage. I wonder if Seb's even just talking to Uragi and saying, hey, keep this Dark Troll Summoner alive because we need those skeletons. We need to get some map control. Because right now, it just feels like we're running from everything.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Unfortunately, that might be the way it's going to be. Because Duraccio is just chasing down Seb. And meanwhile, look at the smoke maneuver as well. We're even going to cut off maybe some of the reinforcements or people playing behind the Enchantress. It's just off the mark, but the Atos going to be able to set up for the arrow. And they'll have the damage to kill him off inside the stun lock. We'll even consider about Uragi. Quinn, he knows no fear. There is no boundary here for the Pangolier when he is currently in this position. Maybe a T3 tower might be a bit too deep though.
15 minutes, a little bit too deep, but you know what? They should be able to just, again, plant their flag on this side of the map. You know, they're playing with an Observer Ward right now, so they know exactly where the GG supports are playing. This is not the area of the map that you're wanting to be going towards. You know, you just want to be able to take out that tier 2 tower as quickly as possible. You want to prevent them from going into this ancient camp and potentially, you know, taking a lot of that farm on DM. This is absolute beatdown, a demolition. Quinn's not dying from this.
Oh, he's not. In fact, all the boys are suddenly here off the back of the ultimate. DM will be able to chain up to the higher ground. They're still hunting though. I'm glad he don't want to let him get out too freely. I mean, he's got a couple heroes nearby. Uragi and Tiger are trying to potentially protect him, but I don't even know if it's going to matter in the end. A nice sidestep here of the Pounce. They'll still be able to get the kill on the DM, and now Tiger is just offering himself up on a silver platter. As Ace out of all heroes gets the double.
And Duraccio is just ratting top. So this is a tier 2 tower going down. 16 minutes in. It's the little things, right? The first blood leading into everything else. Yuragi had his courier sniped previously that was carrying the Echo Saber, so he now has it completed back again, but still not in a position to be able to secure any kills. Like, it's another 1,000 gold away from the Maelstrom from BZM too, so you're going to need that just to deal with. Yeah.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Another courier killed.
And they're going to get him. Oh,
Attack.
Where was this game in? How have they lost 6 games?
that's true. That is true. I mean, still with that now, they're going to jump up to 8 and 6 and have potential to be playing in the upper bracket, you know, depending on some other results. So, yeah.
Gaben is giving them a 10% chance. I don't know about that one. That's optimistic.
I don't even know if is there another word better to describe for optimistic, because I feel like the delusional, maybe.
Oh, okay, that's a little harsh.
Is it? I mean, it's
Misha's birthday, man. Be a little nicer.
I'm sorry, Misha. I apologize. Just not your day when the net worth lead is as high as the minute mark. No, it's not going well. They're going down here. Yeah, no, he's not dying. And all of OG are dying unless they leave. A quick raid. They'll get DM. And no, Tiger's going to try and do whatever he can to allow Yuragi to find a pounce away. They're going to buy back on DM. This is the last fight. Maybe they can get some kills off the back of it. Not to me. Gideon just way too far ahead. And with that, that's going to be a celebratory couple of kills. And resulting in, I imagine, a couple letters shortly getting dropped as well, as they're going to be able to chase down and find the full 5-man wipe. And there they are. Unfortunately, the boys on OG, they will be eliminated from the Riyadh Masters after Gaming Gladiators were able to convincingly 2-0 them.
Goddamn, what a domination. You know, I was expecting to be able to talk about DM Timbersaw. He finally gets to break it out this time around, but I don't know what it is. He just did not have the games that I was expecting to be able to come through from him. And Quinn, again, like, there's a reason that this man has the most feared Pango in the business, finishing up, was it 14-1-6, I think was his KDA at the end of all of that, and this is in a 18-minute game. So, kind of crazy, the amount of space that this man was able to accomplish with a lot of the aggressive attempts. And I mean, even Duraccio, just with his hero damage done, right? He barely participated in any, like, full-on team fights. It was just completely harassing DM out of that lane.
Like you said, we haven't had the opportunity to cast any other gaming games, and I haven't been able to watch them too closely. But you know, where has this performance been in all the others? Regardless, though, it's not too late for them to be able to get that upper bracket, which is incredibly important with how it's a $15 million tournament. You know, what is it like? No one, if we look at TI, no one has won TI starting in the low bracket. So, you know, we haven't had too many Riyadh Masters, but I can imagine, you know, you can kind of use that stat in this one as well. So very important to be able to position yourselves in the upper bracket for that second life. And well, GG might have done that. But again, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to OG.
We do, and right now, all they're going to be praying for is, you know, a 2-0 from that Extreme Gaming and EG series. There's a small possibility that they get 200,000 instead of 100,000 for, you know, being in one of those eliminated spots. So we'll see how that all eventuates. A much quicker series than we were expecting, but, you know, you talk about GG, even if they go in that lower bracket, excuse me, you know, they have been ones to buck the trend all throughout the year. No one has won as many tournaments in a row as them. And if they keep that going, then they might be on track to being labeled one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yes, without a doubt, with the run they are currently on. But that's going to be it for our first series of the night. Next up, we have Secret vs. Tundra. So also another series that still a lot is yet to be determined for Group B. So it's going to be a bit of a break, but when we come back, we've got our second and final series of the night, depending on tiebreakers. Secret vs. Tundra. We'll see you guys shortly.